everyone, it's Enjoy English School. I'm Chris Gorski.
I'm Antony.
Today is May 19th, and we have our culture article this month, The Joy of Complaining in French Culture.
哇，这太酷了啦！我告诉你各位，因为我这个主修的第二外语是法语，所以说很多时候我们在上法文课的时候，有没有提到这一块？哈，在法文里面有非常非常多抱怨的形态，而且很多时候法国人好像很喜欢抱怨天气啦，抱怨政府啦，或甚至是抱怨观光客怎么都不会讲法文啦，等等各式各样的抱怨，非常非常好玩哈。平常抱怨其实有时候还蛮舒压的。
You know, language is interesting. In English, I will complain more. But in Chinese, when I talk, people usually say I'm really positive and happy, Mr. Sunshine. And it's weird because I don't know why it's like that. In English, I will complain more, but in Chinese, I don't really like to complain.
Yeah， 所以就老师在提到说，很多时候他其实在用英文的话，他可能会有一些抱怨的情况，但在中文里面，很多时候他比较少用不同的语言去抱怨，所以说大家都觉得说他是 Mr. Sunshine 阳光先生，然后始终都开开心心的这样子，没有抱怨，他也不知道为什么会这样。
So my question to Antony is, because he speaks both English, Chinese, French, and a lot of other languages, do you complain more in French?
No, not really. I complain more in Mandarin.
It's interesting. It's interesting. So maybe it's your mother tongue because maybe control of your language? I don't know. Mm-hmm. What an interesting question.
That's right.
Let's learn more in paragraph 1. So before we begin paragraph 1, let's look at our subtitle today. A national pastime in France, being critical of everything.
没错，在副标题里面呢，他就提到 a national pastime 就是这种休闲娱乐或是消遣。那什么叫做国民消遣？就是国民日常生活中就会做的事情呢？好，就是 being critical of everything， 任何想得到的事情都可以抱怨政府啊，抱怨小朋友啊，抱怨各式各样的事。
Oh, that sounds terrible. It's okay. So I would say the national pastime in America is baseball, but baseball is not really so popular like football or NBA. Mm-hmm. And then I would say the national pastime of Taiwan is food.Food
That's
what I would say.
就是国民美食啊，很多人都喜欢吃尝美食啊等等，然后拍了好看的照片，然后 po 到 IG 上面等等。
Eating food, talking about food, thinking about food. Food is a big thing in kind of the way I think about the Taiwanese mind. Food is a big thing there.
没错，在台湾的话，真的是美食是一个重要的生活的消遣跟娱乐。
All right, let's go on to paragraph 1. In France, conversations frequently begin with a long sigh.
Yeah, in France, 好，他讲到第一句话，他说在法国呢 ，conversations frequently 很长 ，begin with a long sigh. Sigh 就是je ne comprends pas. I don't understand. 他们讲的我也不晓得为什么会这样，然后他们就会开始抱怨，巴拉巴拉巴拉巴拉这样子。
So frequently is related to the question word.How often? I drew a little arrow about frequently and wrote how often. So I'm thinking about, hey, 你多长一次做什么? Or frequently, a lot.
没错，这是跟你发生的频率有关系的。所以在这边frequently 就上面写 how often， 好，这样就可以很清楚的记得 frequently 跟频率次数有关。
Then the person might talk about how bad the weather is.
他说 then the person might talk about how bad the weather is. 然后他叹完一口气就是说，哎呀，感觉上这天气这么糟啊，这怎么活啊之类的。
Now, when I was younger, I wanted to be a weatherman, like on TV. I love bad weather. It's interesting to me. Like a sunny, happy day, boring. Give me a big storm. I'm interested in that.
OK. 所以老师说他以前很想当气象主播，觉得说通常是在那个电视上面讲到说，这个云层要过来啦，闪电、暴风雨啊等等，他觉得说那种日常生活阳光普照是很无聊的。他如果说有闪电、暴风，他觉得这样很酷。
All right, our next sentence says, or they may complain about a noisy neighbor. Bang, 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 bang.
没错，所以说隔壁如果一直敲，楼上一直在那边空，然后小朋友一直踏，或一直在吵，他就说 or they may complain about a noisy neighbor， 好，或者是觉得抱怨说邻居吵到不能睡觉啊等等。
I used to have a neighbor upstairs, and in America, houses are made of wood, so you can hear upstairs very clearly. And there were some little kids, and the mom would let the kids stand on the couch or the sofa, and they would jump off, boom, on the floor. And she said it was a game they played called Superman.
哦，哇哦！所以说，老师今天之前他有住在那个美国的楼上的那个房子，对不对？
我住楼下，
住楼下，他们住楼上，他们楼上的那个小朋友，他们会从那个床上或沙发上用力咚跳到地上，然后他的那个嘣一下，那样咚这样一声，然后他就说这个游戏叫 Superman。
Oh, it was so noisy. These examples might make it seem like the French are always in a bad mood.
好，接下来他就告诉你说 ，these examples 这些例子呢 might make it seem like 感觉上会让你觉得怎么样呢 ？The French 好，就是法国人 ，the French 好，他想说 are always in a bad mood， 感觉上好像脾气就不太好啊，动不动就是发脾气，也不开心这样。
Make sure you highlight the with French because this is 法国人 because 法文 we also know is French. So 没有 the 的话 we don't know is this the language or the people. So we need this the, it's really important. And don't forget in English, 你坏脾气 we need to say in a bad mood.
In a bad mood 就是啊心情不好，脾气差，天天在抱怨。
Yet in France, the art of complaining is a well-appreciated tradition.
不过呢 ，yet in France， 好，就是在法国呢 ，the art of complaining， 好，这个抱怨这门艺术呢，哇，被当成艺术了哈 ，is a well appreciated tradition。这个地方我们把 well appreciated 这个字画起来，因为呢后面讲的 tradition is appreciated by people， 所以在这里的话，我们讲 well appreciated， 要用 VPP 来变成一个这种复合的形容词，对吧 ？Well appreciated tradition 就是大家都非常重视、非常非常看重的这门抱怨的艺术。
And today we also have a lot of our COMs, CONs, and COLs that we saw in our 2-day story on the Queen's Gambit earlier in the month. Don't forget COM, CON, COL 都是在一起的意思。第一句 we had conversations. CON 就是在一起。Are you going to talk to yourself? No, crazy person. You talk to other people. And we also have complain. It's really crazy to talk to yourself. It's even crazier to complain to yourself. Like no one's here to listen.
Yeah, 所以在这里的话呢，我们在提到说 com, 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 col 都是有一起的意思，在这里面第一段里头就看到 conversation 啊，就是这跟人家去讲话，所以通常是要有个对象嘛，对不对？那 complain 也是 com， 要有个抱怨的对象，就自己跟自己抱怨，自说自话，感觉上像疯子一样。
That's really crazy. Let's go to paragraph 2. In French, 这个是语言 there are different words used to describe complaining.
好，所以呢，第二段的第一句话说 ，in French， 我们刚刚提到 the French we're talking about French people，but now in French we're talking about the language。好，就在法文里面 ，there are different words used to describe complaining。光是抱怨这件事情，会有不同的法文字来表达。
Now the next sentence, Anthony's going to help us because his French pronunciation is so good. The verb
se plaindre
is used for ordinary complaining.
所以他就说了 se plaindre 这一个动词呢，是用来 is used for ordinary complaining 一般的抱怨的。
Now, the se plaindre
means
to make something regular or ordinary. We'll see that we see that in the next word. And we just said complains. We have complain, se plaindre, and we know the word explain. 就是解释 This P-L-A-I-N means to make something simple or regular.
没错，所以这个地方 P-L-A-I-N 这个部分呢，就跟 explain 那个字根是一样，就是 make something clear， 就把事情解释清楚。se plaindre 这个字的话，就是抱怨的意思，而且是一般的抱怨，是真的觉得说，哎，这件事应该处理。
On the contrary, the verb
râler
describes complaining for fun, and this is what the French enjoy the most.
没错，所以在这里的话 ，the verb râler 的意思比较像是去嘴别人，好，可能是变成说，哎，我跟你讲，哦，像我们有时候，我之前去法国的时候，就刚好听到在巴黎就听到我在喝咖啡，然后旁边2个法国人在讲说，哎，这些可恶的观光客怎么来法国，来到巴黎的 一句法文都不会讲，这太夸张了。他们两个人哔哔一直嘴，然后一边喝一边听他们抱怨。他们在嘴的时候，这个东西就是说哈雷。哈雷的意思就是指这种 complaining for fun, and this is what the French enjoy the most. 他们最喜欢拿这种茶余饭后来嘴别人，当做是一种消遣。
I love Taiwan. You know, when in Taiwan, if you speak one word of Chinese, Taiwanese people are like, you are so wonderful. Thank you for trying so hard. Taiwanese are so friendly. Americans and the French are like, your English is not perfect. You need to practice more. I like the Taiwanese way more. It's like, we are 鼓励你. Thank you for trying. I know it's not easy. Good job. Taiwanese, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
我们台湾人都碰到那外国人，只要会讲一两个字，大家就说哇，你中文好棒。
你好，我是外国人。
Yeah! Please clap.
Please clap.
所以在这里的话，我们就提到了那个 se plaindre 跟 râler 之间的这个差别了。
Oh, Taiwanese, you guys are better. All right, here we go. Generally, the French have a tendency to be hard on the government rather than on private matters.
好，所以他告诉你说 ，generally， 一般来说呢 ，the French have a tendency， 这个字稍微注意一下 ，tendency， 就是有这样的倾向。那意思就是 the French are likely to be on hard， 在这边的话是 have a tendency to be hard on something， 意思就是指呢，他们对于某些东西呢，它是比较严格、比较严厉一点的。On what? On the government。好，在政府方面，他们常常抱怨政府的一些做法很傻，或者觉得这样根本没有效，对不对？好 ，rather than on private matters， 但是他对于个人的事务上面就比较不会这么的严格、严厉一点。
So on May 6th, on page 16 or 17, in paragraph 2, we had the word tension. And tension is a Latin word that means to stretch. If you pull too hard, it's not good, but you usually can stretch a little bit, right? So the word tendency means you usually can do something because you can usually stretch a little bit, maybe not too far.
没错。那在我们之前讲到那个 The Queen's Gambit 后羿弃兵的第二天里面，其中有提到一个字叫 tension, T-E-N-S-I-O-N tension 指的是紧张关系嘛？那个它这边的那个 tension 跟这边的 tendency 都有 T-E-N 这个字。那这个东西的话 ，tendency 就是也许你平常会做的一些事情，但是你不会做太多的，就是 tendency。Have a tendency to do something 就是有倾向会做这样的事情。
And the opposite of to be hard on something is to be soft on something or somebody.
Yeah, so don't be too soft on your kids. 要对他们严格一点，不要太过宽松，但都放他们自己可以做任何事情，这样不好。So to be hard on someone, to be soft on someone， 就是对一个人或对一件事情的态度。
It's no wonder that protests in France are an integral part of its culture.
所以最后这句话讲了 ，It's no wonder that， 难怪呀，怎样？Protests in France， 好，就是在法国里面，很多时候会有抗议啊、罢工啊。Are and 这边的话有两种可能念法，有的人会念成 integral， 有人会像刚老师念 integral， 好，都是可以的。An integral part or integral part of its culture， 在法国文化里面，这是一个极度重要、不可或缺的一环。
Let's take a quick break. Welcome back to Enjoy English School. We are talking about the joy of complaining in French culture. Let's begin our final paragraphs here. Sometimes there is so much complaining in French conversations that it can seem like a battle.
好，再来我们看第三段。好，这最后一段这个第一句话，它说 Sometimes there is so much complaining in French conversations。好，在这个法文对话里面掺杂了非常非常多各式各样的抱怨。That 好，因为它前面有 so much， 后面的 that 是到了这样的程度 ，it can seem like a battle， 听起来感觉像两个人在吵架一样。好，反正像 like a battle， 感觉像在吵架。好，很多时候你就听到说，哎呦，他们吵得好凶哦，没有，他们只是在互相的较劲。好，在这个言语上较劲。
This is sometimes called a one-up or a one-upper. So that's a person. So Anthony says, the weather's so bad. And I'll say, nah. In Taiwan, in summer, the weather's really hot. And then Anthony says, yeah, but if you go to the Middle East, it's even hotter there. Oh, I wanted to die. And I say, oh, yeah? Well, I lived on the sun and I was on fire, right? So it's just always, This is a one-upper. 不管你说什么，另外一个人的 更糟糕，就更厉害。
没有错，没有错。所以很多时候互相的再去较劲，对不对？很多时候是故意抬杠，我们中文会讲抬杠，意思就是说，抬杠的意思就是说，就是你讲这个很难，这个难，我告诉你那个更难啦。不，你那个那算什么？这样互相这样抬杠。
That's a one-upper.
One-upper.
Yeah. And let's continue with our next sentence. In their eyes, however, disagreeing and complaining are signs that a person is giving an honest opinion instead of just being polite.
好，所以这句话也蛮重要的，在法国的文化里面其实很棒哦。In their eyes， 在他们眼中，好，他们只是如何看待彼此争论或者是意见不合这件事情。可能我们在台湾的话，可能想说啊，你有这样想，好，那我了解了。他不会跟你去争论。可是在这边要仔细听好，他说 ，However， 然而呢，在他们眼中 ，disagreeing and complaining are signs that a person is giving an honest opinion。他是告诉你说。他当你跟你有不同的想法，还愿意跟你去谈论，甚至有点小吵架那种感觉的时候，其实事实上他在表达他真实的想法 ，an honest opinion instead of just being polite， 而不只是在那边说好，这个有点像是在跟你敷衍你，然后就不跟你讲真话这种感觉。他们很重视就是正面对决的感觉。
So don't forget we say an honest opinion because 那个 H 没有发音，它听起来像一个短 O 的母音 ，so it's an honest opinion 不是 a honest opinion. And when we give someone an honest opinion instead of just being polite in American English, especially for young people, this is called being real.
Being real， 好，就是真的跟你交心，好，所以在这里的话 ，instead of just being polite， 不只是以礼相待，说好你说的算，你说的对，但是不告诉你真正的想法。
Yeah, this is a really important phrase for young people. Being real is really important. And sometimes when people are being real, they're being a little bit rude, honestly. You can give an honest opinion, but you don't have to be rude. Sometimes when people are being real, they're being very direct. And you probably should pay attention to what they're saying because they're maybe a little bit angry.
Yeah， 没错。所以很多时候有一个字跟大家分享一下 ，outspoken。outspoken。
That's more 正式
Yeah，O-U-T out spoken 就是 speak 的第三态 ，spoken S-P-O-K-E-N outspoken 一个字就是指直言不讳的，就直接告诉你这样子。这个字比较正式，好，就是有点让你听着觉得不太舒服哦。但是很多人他可能觉得这样是做自己，可是很多时候尽量不要。你可以讲真话，但是不要这么的率直，让人家不舒服。
There's a middle road between being real, outspoken, and being honest. Like you can do both, right? You just don't have to. Hey, ugly, you need to be more beautiful. Like you don't have to say it like that,
That's
right?
True.
There's a middle road here.
That's right.
Let's continue. Research suggests that complaining may even be a healthy habit.
没错，在这边他讲说，甚至研究显示，他这边先讲到研究是用 research 这个字，特别注意一下 research 这个字在美式英文里面呢，它是不可数的用法， so we always say research suggests。好，在这里的话特别注意，它上面你不妨写一个 uncountable noun， 它是一个不可数的。Research suggests that， 好，很多研究显示呢 ，complaining may even be a healthy habit。好，对你来讲是有帮助的，对你的身体来讲是一个健康的一个习惯。
So if we don't want to say research, 不可数 suggests, we can make it plural. We could say studies show. No S.
没错，马上就会看到了。
Our next sentence says, several studies, there we go, have shown that people who bottle up negative emotions tend to be more aggressive and more likely to get heart disease.
好，这样告诉你反面的例子，对不对 ？Several studies have shown that。好，所以这里的话，如果你想要用可数名词的话，不妨把这个字圈起来 ，studies。你可以 say a study shows that， 或者是 studies show that，or studies have shown that， 都可以指研究显示出什么呢？People who bottle up negative emotions， 当那些情绪都藏在心里头，都不跟人家讲，也不发泄出来，都是这种负面情绪都窝在心里头的时候呢，这种人 tend to be more aggressive。他们在要爆发的时候，就很凶狠，对不对 ？Aggressive 就是有侵略性，会攻击人的感觉。And more likely to get heart disease， 啊，意思就是指他这种人也比较容易得心脏病，好，心脏相关的疾病。
And now we have tend to be And we use the word have a tendency in paragraph 2. I drew a nice big arrow on my paper here. Generally, the French have a tendency to be hard on the government. 我从那边 tendency, I drew a big arrow to tend to.
没错，所以在这里的话，我们刚刚在前面那一段有提到 have a tendency， 对不对？你把那个 tendency 圈起来，还有这边的 negative emotions， 然后 tend to be 的这个 tend， 把它圈起来，把它连在一起。所以当用动词的话，你可以说 people tend to do something，or you can say people have a tendency to do something， 都可以，动词、名词都好用。
So the next time something bothers you, try following the French way by voicing a complaint.Just not down in the YouTube comments here. Say something nice, please.
yeah, 没错。好，老师就说，你可以去抱怨一下，但是请你不要在我们的频道下面的那个抱怨，说点好话，拜托。
Thumbs up, thumbs up.
Thumbs up, thumbs up. 好，大家特别注意，然后按个赞之类的。好，最后他就说 ，So the next time something bothers you， 如果你碰到什么不如意的事情的话，可以怎么做呢 ？Try following the French way。好，不妨可以试着用法国文化的方式。By voicing a complaint， 不妨把这个你心中的抱怨表达出来，这样的话对你健康也有帮助，让对方可以有机会可以改善他的行为，这都是好事。
All right, vocab reviews next. All right, here we go. Vocab review. First one, a national pastime.
A national pastime 就是指这种国民的消遣娱乐。
Number 2.In a bad mood.
In a bad mood. Be in a bad mood 就是指心情不好或是坏脾气。
To be hard on somebody or to be soft on somebody.
To be hard on somebody 就是对某个人非常严格。那相反的 to be soft on somebody 就是对某人条件非常宽松，非常厚爱，然后就是到溺爱的程度。
All right, well, we're out of time for today. That's no complaint. I love being with you guys. But we will see you real soon on Enjoy English School. I'm Chris Korsky.
I'm Antony.
We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
第40页，文化之窗，法国人的抱怨精神。
The joy of complaining in French culture. In France, conversations frequently begin with a long sigh. Then, the person might talk about how bad the weather is, or they may complain about a noisy neighbor.These examples might make it seem like the French are always in a bad mood. Yet in France, the art of complaining is a well-appreciated tradition. In French, there are different words used to describe complaining. The verb se plaindre is used for ordinary complaining. On the contrary, the verb râler describes complaining for fun.And this is what the French enjoy the most. Generally, the French have a tendency to be hard on the government rather than on private matters. It's no wonder that protests in France are an integral part of its culture. Sometimes there is so much complaining in French conversations that it can seem like a battle. In their eyes, however,Disagreeing and complaining are signs that a person is giving an honest opinion instead of just being polite. Research suggests that complaining may even be a healthy habit. Several studies have shown that people who bottle up negative emotions tend to be more aggressive and more likely to get heart disease. So the next time something bothers you, try following the French way by voicing a complaint.